Hello, everyone, and welcome to the part two of my thought leadership video series, leveraging generative AI and AWS Bedrock. So, in the part two, we will delve into AWS Bedrock and how we can use it to develop AI-powered products. So, here's a quick summary of the the topics that are part of this series with part one and part two. So let's get started. I would like to give a quick recap of part one before going to part two. In part one, I introduced what is generative AI and its relevance to product managers. We also discussed the exciting world of generative AI and the potential it has to transform businesses, why product managers should care about generative AI and the benefits and challenges it presents, and how companies can get started with AI and the role of business leaders and product managers in the process. So, and in part two today, we will delve into AWS Bedrock and explore how we can use that to build and deploy generative AI applications. And I will also showcase a practical use case for building an AWS Solution Architect agent. We'll also look into the use cases, the benefits, and the impact of it as well. And then we'll conclude this presentation. And what is AWS Bedrock? It is an AWS technology with a comprehensive set of tools for building and deploying generative AI applications. Its key features include foundation models like Claude and Titan has Titan, which is Amazon's models, Llama. So there's a lot of, and these are the models available and you can leverage on them. There's customization options and integration with other AWS services. And what are the benefits of this for product managers is it gives them the ability to market things faster and develop security scalable solutions which are compliant with security and privacy. And it also helps to um, be compliant with GDPR and HIPAA, which is a main concern with many of the generative AI applications. And we already discussed many of the generative AI use cases earlier. These are pretty much the same. And these are four use cases, I think, that can span across many industries like financial service, healthcare, automotive, media, and entertainment. This is just the tip of the iceberg, but not a comprehensive list of use cases. So now let's take up a practical use case of building an AWS solution architect. And quickly, the scope is that this agent suggests solution architecture according to the AWS well-architected framework, develops AWS diagrams, and writes code in languages like Python, Java, and so we will discuss, what are the steps to develop and deploy this agent using Bedrock as well. So before we get into those steps, I would also like to give a quick overview of the solution. And this AWS agent uses retrieval augmented generation approach, which consists of two processes, as you can see in the top here. So we take AWS well-architected documents and using embedding model, we ingest that data into a vector database. And then after that's done, we retrieve the document data from here through an LLM, more like the Claude Bedrock LLM, which gives us the response. And so right now, like, if you take the Claude agent, it is unaware of all the knowledge that's related to the AWS well-architected framework or to draw AWS diagrams. So we'll ingest that into the vector database and then query it later. So where the query gets added with the enhanced context and comes back with the response. So I'll demonstrate all this by running the actual application. Here are some prerequisites. You need to have an AWS account. You need to set up AWS CLI and access to AWS resources. You need to get the AWS GitHub code. There is a GitHub code to get started on this Bedrock. I've done all these things, but I'm not going to go through all the details of how to set this up, but I'm just giving you a sense of what the prerequisites are. And you can use any idea of choice, but I've gone with VS Code and Anaconda, but I'll be using VS Code for this demo. And there's also Python and other libraries that are required. So, and once you have all this set up, you need to set up AWS Bedrock using the AWS console, which is where you need to provide access to the various models. Here you can see I'm already logged into AWS, and I've already set it up. And like, when you click on it, so it shows you the foundation models that are available. Amazon has many of its models by Titan. And I also quickly created an agent here, and this agent has no knowledge of uh, the AWS well-architected framework, so it won't be able to provide an answer for the query that you might have. So let's try to ask it if it can design a VPC or not. And the steps to actually develop are provided in the GitHub repository. I will share the links below. And all the links I'll try to include all the links that I have used to develop this demo. So here it says, sorry, I don't have enough information to answer that because like we discussed earlier, it has no knowledge of this well-architected data, but we are going to ingest that and then query it, and then Claude will be able to answer those questions. So, and from here, let's get into VS Code actually. And if you get into VS Code, I have pretty much many of these things set up here. I'm not gonna take a lot of time to look into the technical details of all these things. I already discussed the prerequisites, and there's a lot of places from where you need to gather this information. I'll leave all the links below on my video. So if you'd like to experiment it, and if you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to help you with that. And so here's in just a quick overview. This is the first part where the code fetches all the AWS best practices, and it ingests that into a vector database. And then you could actually test it. When you test it, it comes back. But we will actually try to test it from a UI, a Streamlit UI application, and how all these works. But there's also three functions we're going to test. One is the AWS well-architected tool, a code generation tool, and also a tool that generates the diagrams through a UI. So I've actually run this and ingested into a vector database locally. So it's created that the Facebook AI similarity search database, which is a vector database, and we will try to run the Streamlit application where it will use this information, and when you query it, it will come back with the responses, either with designing VPCs based on the well-architected framework, or drawing diagrams, or generating code. So you will, I'm saying a lot of things, but all this will fall into place once I provide the demo. So let's quickly get started with the demo. Um, I'm going to run it. It's going to launch a browser session. And as you can see, we're going to test these three different functions. One is we will ask it to give us suggestions on the best practices, generate a diagram, or generate a code. So I would like to quickly step back a little bit to this diagram that I said. So we ingested this code, we ingested the data, it's already here. Now we're going to query the Claude and it's going to come back with the response. So earlier we saw this one where, there's no, it's not been ingested um, with the AWS well architected data, so it's not able to provide an answer back to us. So let's go here. So we have the Streamlit application up and running. So we're going to give it some queries. So the first part is we will test the well architected framework. I do have some queries already readily available. I'm gonna use that, run this. So let's say, how can I design secure VPCs? So now here, what's happening is it's going to take this query, go to the vector database and create an enhanced context, interact with the Claude LLM and come back with a response. It also provides some resources on these best practices. And the next function is the diagramming tool. Will say, give me a diagram, shows an S3 bucket connected to an EC2 instance. These are all Amazon resources, which are part of building solutions. So now it's the same thing. So it's generating, takes the prompt, adds the enhanced context based on the vector database. And yeah, so here we have a diagram, and it also gives you an explanation of what the diagram is. And finally, the last one is the code generation tool, where you can generate code in a language of your choice, but we'll try to generate Python code to upload a file to S3 bucket. Again, S3 is another storage tool. It's an AWS resource. So we will submit a query here. Yes, there you go. And it's come back with a Python code to upload a file to S3. And that's pretty much the demonstration of the solution. And I think let's go back. It's basically, we ingested the data, and then when you query from this app, this is Streamlit app, it goes back, the query gets added with the enhanced context, and that's how it's able to come back with responses which are very specific to AWS well architecting, diagrams, and also code for AWS resources. And what else do we have to cover for today? And that's pretty much the demo. The benefits and impact are, it enhances productivity and efficiency, it improves the solution quality, and these solutions are scalable and customizable. So those are the benefits. And a quick recap of the series. Part one, I introduced what is generative AI and it's relevant to product managers. We explored the exciting world of generative AI and how it can transform businesses, why product managers should care about AI, and what are the benefits and challenges it presents, and how companies must get started with AI, and what is can get started with AI, and what is the role of product managers and leaders in the process. So in the part two, we took a deep dive into AWS Bedrock and to understand the various features it offers, the foundation models it has, and I also showcased the practical use case of building an AWS Solution Architect Agent, and we discussed the benefits and impact of using AWS Bedrock. And that's all I have as part of the series. Thank you for joining me on both the parts of this series, and I'm looking forward to hear back from you on your feedback and comments. I would also like to continue this conversation, and please let me know how these videos have helped you as part of your product management journey. Thank you.